flag on the moon. How did it get there?
I want to tell you about a filmmaker of an unusual talent. He made his 3 classic works between 1961 and 1966. He wrote, directed, and even appeared in all 3 films. These cinematic masterpieces were almost forgotten about until a man named Frank Conniff discovered them for a show called Mystery Science Theater 3000. I'm talking, of course, about the one and only Coleman Francis. Coleman Francis's life and career is a mystery, and it's a mystery that I would like to solve. Well, hello there, Old Man Kelly here, Jeff to my friends, and you can call me Jeff. You know, when I watch a film like The Beast of Yucca Flats from 1961, I can't help but wonder if the filmmaker, in this case Coleman Francis, knew that he was making, for lack of a better phrase, a subpar film. It's a film that many have called bad. I wouldn't say that, but many in the past have. Okay, let's say, for example, Roger Corman, when he made The Attack of the Crab Monster. Roger Corman knew exactly the type of film he was making, but I wonder, did Francis? What was going through his head when he made these films? In his mind, was he creating a cinematic masterpiece, or was this just a money grab? Or maybe it was an expression of his inner self. Maybe it was just him having fun with family and friends, who knows? In his first film, Yucca Flats, the woman, Louise Radcliffe, is played by Barbara Francis, Coleman's real-life wife, and the 2 kids in the film are played by the couple's actual kids, Randy and Art, so it makes me think that it was just a family thing. Maybe not, though. Maybe Coleman was just looking for actors whom he didn't have to pay, because after all, these films were really a low-budget thing. And I'm not here to review these films, The Beast of Yucca Flats from 61, The Skydivers from 63, or Red Zone Cuba from 66. I think they pretty much speak for themselves. And say what you want about these films, but Coleman Francis was able to get these films made. Personally, I'm impressed by that. I mean, this was back in the 60s when film stock wasn't cheap. You couldn't just film a motion picture on your iPhone. And film was the stuff, it was in a spool, and, well, kids, ask your parents what film was. Coleman had a unique way of shooting his movies. He would shoot them like the Italian movies of the 60s and 70s, without sound, then record the sound later. But to avoid the lip-syncing problem that comes with that, he would just avoid showing the characters' mouths while they were talking. I love this low-budget ingenuity.
Hank? I can't find him. What do you think we should do?
I don't know, Lois. Stay here, I'll go out farther. We'll find him.
All that being said, I want to know more about the man himself. I mean, this might surprise you, but there are no biographies written about him whatsoever. None. Even the information on the internet is very sparse. I know he was born on January 24th, 1919 in Greer County, Oklahoma, and died on January 15th, 1973 in what might have been a murder or a suicide. In the 1940s, he moved to Hollywood with the idea of making it as an actor. But for the next 30 years, he only got uncredited bit parts. He appeared in films such as Blondie's Reward, Scarlet Angel, The Girl in White, This Island Earth, She Couldn't Say No, Twilight for the Gods, Killers from Space, and Motor Psycho. In the 1958 film Stake Out a Dope Street, he actually received film credits, so that was something. But that's what I'm talking about. I mean, did he go to Hollywood with the idea of being the next John Wayne or Laurence Olivier, only to fail miserably? Or was he just a happy-go-lucky guy who was happy to be in films at all? In 1959, he met a welder named Anthony Cardoza, who everybody called Tony. Tony had helped finance Ed Wood's Night of the Ghouls. He had gone to film school and learned music, writing, film editing, and more. Coleman called Tony because he was trying to get a hold of Tor Johnson to be in his new film, The Violent Son. Tony knew Tor since the two had worked together on the Ed Wood film. The two became friends, and Tony helped Coleman on the picture, which took about a year to make. It was Tony's job to get the money that was needed. He said, "Coleman never raised a nickel. I raised all the money for it. I got some welding friends. They all chipped in." The film was renamed The Beast of Yucca Flats, and, well, the rest is history. Tony would end up producing and appearing in all 3 of Coleman's films. Anthony Cardoza said when he was asked what kind of a person Coleman was, basically he was a nice person. People say he drank. I never saw him drink a drop, not even a beer in all our years together. He liked aspirins and Coca-Cola. He said it gave him a lift, and then he laughed. When asked about Coleman's later years, he said, "The last time I saw him, he was about Tor Johnson's weight. After being only like 200 pounds, he went up to about 350. He was on a park bench with an overcoat, and he looked like he was gone, 3 sheets to the wind. I don't know what happened to him. I was driving by and I saw him on the bench, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I felt sorry for him, but at the same time, you know, you've got to take care of yourself and your family." Come on, Tony, you couldn't have pulled over and said hello. But anyway, Coleman's last acting role was in 1970 when he played a drunk in Russ Meyer's Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. The quotes I used from Anthony Cardoza came from a website called bmovie.com by Tom Weaver. At the end of the interview, Tony says something I agree with. "I don't knock Ed Wood and I don't knock Coleman. When I started, I didn't know beans about movies, so I have to praise them. If Ed Wood had the money and backing behind him, he would have been a top-notch producer-director." I'm not sure about that, but the thing is, people like Wood and Francis are the butt of a lot of jokes. You know, he was the worst filmmaker of all time. No, he was the worst filmmaker of all time, and I don't go in for any of that. I enjoy these films, and not in an ironic sort of way. I mean, if you give me the choice between Beast of Yucca Flats and Transformers, or in fact, any Michael Bay film, I'll take the works of Coleman Francis. So I'm on a quest to learn more about Coleman Francis. Look, Ed Wood has been researched to death. You can find all the information you want out there about him. I was able to find more about Harold P. Warren, the maker of the film Manos Hands of Fate, than Coleman Francis, and that's not right. Now, both Francis and Anthony Cardoza have since passed on. I'm wondering if his wife Barbara or their 2 sons are still around. I don't know. But look, if you know something about Coleman Francis that you could pass on to me, I would really appreciate it. If you know anybody who worked with them or whatever, I don't know. Just putting it out there. Anyway, this is Old Man Kelly on my quest to learn of information about a filmmaker, and I'll be back soon with something exciting, maybe. Bye.